All right, well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar. I could not be more excited. We are doing something a little bit different here at Plumbing HVAC SEO. As you know, we usually are talking about internet marketing and search engine optimization and generating more leads. But being that we work with so many plumbing and HVAC companies, we want to bring you new ideas. We want to bring you innovative solutions. And here in the last couple of months, a new technology came to my attention. It's this FLO Technology, which is almost like a smart device and a smart application for your home's plumbing. And as the owners of plumbing and HVAC businesses, I just think this technology is going to take the industry by storm. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys. So I thought it'd be great to bring the guys on FLO into a session, kind of let them teach you about the system and how it works and how you guys can take advantage of it. So without further ado, I will kick it off to the guys at FLO.
Hey, how's it going? So thank you for having us on the program today. My name is Gabe Halimi. I'm the CEO and co-founder of FLO Technologies. So today what we're going to do with the time we have allotted, we have about 60 minutes or so, I think. Right, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. So with the time we have allotted, what I thought we'd do is just give you a little bit of an overview about FLO, kind of a little bit of context of where we came from, because I think that'll help better understand what the technology is all about. And then actually right behind me, I'm going to give you guys a live demo of how the technology works. This is the same demo that we did at CES this year, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, which got but a lot of attention. So I hope you guys like it. And then throughout, I think you guys can ask questions through the chat on the side, and so we'll try to leave plenty of time. I'll kind of get through what I want to present, and then we'll have time to also answer some questions as well. And I have the guys here that are monitoring the chat. So can you guys also see my screen?
We're seeing your screen now. Yep.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to kind of looks like does that work? Great. Okay. So great. So what FLO is, it's a water monitoring and shut off system. What happened?
Hey Josh, can you change the Arn's desktop?
You can see it.
We are seeing the desktop right now.
Yeah, you are. Okay, yeah, great. We're good. So it's a water monitoring and shut off system for the home that proactively monitors the entire water system. It can detect vulnerabilities anywhere. So it protects the home or the building, it promotes maintenance, and it empowers conservation. Our goal as an organization is that we want to prevent loss one drip at a time. The story of FLO, just to provide a little bit of context, it really starts with three plumbing experts. So my dad is the guy on the left, that's Henry Halimi. He's the inventor of the technology. Henry was a plumbing manufacturer for years, mechanical engineer by trade, invented a number of different plumbing products. So his last invention sold over 14 million units. And he came up with FLO because it was kind of the perfect storm of different experiences. So he's an inventor, so he's come up with a bunch of ideas for plumbing products. But he was acting as an expert witness for plumbing failures that would happen in people's homes. He would get hired by the plumbing manufacturer when we all know those pesky water connectors that connect like the toilets to the water supply lines, or other products that have a history of failing. When people would file homeowners insurance claims, the plumbing manufacturers would bring my dad in to be the expert witness. So he was retained on over 1,000 different plumbing failures. And he saw in all those different cases that he was managing that there were some key indicators of when plumbing failures happen. So not just kind of detecting leaks, he started thinking about how do we prevent leaks from happening in the first place in homes and in buildings. He then partnered with the guys from Watts Water Technologies. You guys have probably heard of Watts. They do like the backflows and stuff like that. So my dad ended up working with their R&D department, and they spent about 10 years and $1.5 million on coming to the early prototype of what I'm going to show you, which is the FLO device. And in early 2015, working with my dad, we kind of made the decision that, okay, bringing this to market with Watts may not be the best fit. This is more of a technology product than it is just a traditional plumbing product like a backflow. So we really needed to build like a world-class tier 1 of a technology team if we were really going to take this product to the heights that we think it deserves. So we built a group of key advisors. The middle guy, Jamie Siminoff, is the inventor of a technology called Ring.
Wow.
You guys may have just seen it sold to Amazon for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
Jeff Shalingo and Ernie, who were on the previous slide, they joined the company, so they ended up leaving Watts. Ernie became an early investor and consultant on the project, and Jeff joined us as our co-founder. We also have the chief of staff of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, a bunch of other technology guys that came together. And then we built a group of experts in their respective fields to all manage different parts of what FLO Technologies is all about. So our head of support comes from Tesla. All of our support guys are actually from Tesla. Our supply chain guys from Apple, our data scientists is from Apple. Most of our software engineers came from Intuit. So we're kind of like bringing all of these plumbing experts, like we're really a plumbing DNA company, but matching them with some world-class technology guys. And then so there's been a bunch of press about the company that I won't bore you with right now. I want to get to the actual demo. Very well covered at CES. And then just recently, you guys may have seen this in Plumbing and Mechanical, there was a pretty lengthy article all about how this leak detection revolution is happening. And so we were quoted throughout that article, but a lot of attention on us. But now I'm going to stop boring you with all this background about the company and start telling you about what FLO is actually all about. So first, the problem space. So you guys are on the front lines of what happens in people's homes and people's buildings with respect to plumbing. So you guys probably know that water damage is a huge issue in homes and buildings as a result of plumbing failure. So much so that it's actually the leading cause of preventable homeowners insurance claims every year. It's twice as likely that someone will file a claim for water damage than fire and theft combined. About $9 billion every year that homeowners insurance companies spend paying out claims for water damage. On average, it's about $8,000. It's a huge, huge problem space. But even just going beyond just property damage, on average, 13.7% of water that goes into a home is also lost due to leaks, which is over 1 trillion gallons a year. So if you're in a part of the country like we are in California, we care deeply about water conservation because we were just in our 5th straight year of emergency drought conditions. But any part of the country that you're in, you got to remember that 13.7% of water, sure, some of that may be lost in like a leaky toilet or something and may not be causing property damage. But in our experience, about 20% of the time when there's a leak, it's causing some kind of an infrastructure issue. It could be behind the wall, could be underneath the slab of the home. The homeowner doesn't even know that it's happening, but it's causing damage somewhere. That's the kind of stuff that forms mold, eventually could cause foundational issues in the home. So it's really important to identify these leaks, and there really hasn't been anything very good to identify when these leaks are happening. So enter FLO. So FLO is a 3-part system. The first part is hardware. So the FLO device is less than 6 inches long. The current device goes on a 3/4 of an inch line, but could be installed on up to a 1 1/4 inch line with retrofitting. But the device installs on the main water supply line to the home. One device is all that's needed for an entire home or building. It gets installed after the water meter, if there's a pressure regulator, after the pressure regulator, after the water shutoff. And then it connects via Wi-Fi to the cloud. Every second of the day, this device is collecting data on how water is being used from a flow standpoint, pressure standpoint, and a temperature standpoint. All 3 of the fluid mechanical elements of a potable water line. And so as I scroll down here, you'll see a bunch of different installations that we've done. There have been over 1,000 of these now around the country and around the world that have been deployed. So these are just some of the examples of some creative plumbing in some instances that had to be done to get this installed. But anywhere where the main water supply line is, in California, most of the time that'll be outside. For those of you guys on like the East Coast, that may be in a basement. You guys know the plumbing is very local. So anywhere the water supply line goes, this guy will get installed. And inside of the box that FLO comes with, the boxes are up here. So it comes in a box like this size. And in there you got, pretty much everything you need. You got the power adapter, you have the different nuts and whatnot that you need for the installation. And the homeowner, when the homeowner gets the box, they'll do the pairing to their home Wi-Fi themselves. Works very similar to any other connected home device. We know today there are a lot of devices to keep a home safe. You have electric circuit breakers for electricity, smoke detectors for fire. You got a bunch of different stuff. This is really the answer for the water system, right? So everything you need kind of comes in the box. The homeowner will pair it to their home Wi-Fi. And then this device starts learning what's normal for the home water system from a pressure standpoint, flow, and temperature. So again, all three of the fluid mechanical elements. It has an actuated ball valve in here so you can actually turn on and turn off the water remotely. And the system is actually smart enough that it will turn off the water automatically in the event of something really catastrophic happening. A bunch of different details here about the device and kind of what you need for the installation. So maybe I should touch on this real quick. So there are kind of 5 requirements that you need for the device. 1, you need to be able to get access to the main water supply line. 2, you actually need a water supply line that's 1 1/4 inch or less. If you install it on something that has a diameter above 1 1/4 inch, that's when you'll start seeing kind of reduced flow and pressure, and the homeowner won't really like that. But up to a 1 1/4 inch, we've done a lot of those. People are very happy. You need home Wi-Fi. You need a smart home. You need actually a smartphone to be able to use our app, which I'll give you the full demo of how this works. And what's the last one? Is that all? Did I name them all? No. And power. Yes, thank you, Arn.
There's a quick question on the link to the power cord. Can that be made longer in the field? Robert Wagner is asking.
Yeah. So, how long is the standard cord that it comes with? Yeah, so it's just under 60 for the regular cord, but we actually have a 25-foot extension cord that we can also provide. And you can actually link up to 4 of them if you needed to. So you could get yourself up to 100 feet if necessary. That's actually, I'll say from what we've experienced so far, the most challenging part of the installation is really nothing to do with the plumbing. Really the most challenging part at times will be getting to the present a little bit of an issue. But the same way like a cable company can route any different way to get it to power, you would essentially do the same thing with this device. So how does FLO actually work? So once you install one of these on the main water supply line, every second of the day, this collects data on how water is actually being used in that home and will learn the habits of people with respect to their water use. So Josh might take showers to 7 a.m. I have twins. I take my shower much earlier because I got to get up for them. The device learns what's normal for every home during that time of day, that day of the week, and it sets up parameters for what should be allowable. So if you only have one person living in a home, your highest flow rate may be 4 or 5 gallons per minute, and you wouldn't have a bunch of fixtures running at the same time. People typically aren't home during the day, during the week, but over the weekends, you would have a different usage pattern. Whatever your usage patterns are, no judgment. It's just learning what's normal for that home. So as soon as something deviates outside of the norm, let's say the highest pressure flow rate you ever have is like 12 gallons a minute because you got your landscaping running, but all of a sudden now you're at 16 gallons a minute, the device could send an alert. So it could send a text message, push notification, auto-generated phone calls, emails. It could alert you any which way. And then you have the power at your fingertips to decide what it is you want to do. If you don't get the alert and something really critical is happening, the system can shut the water off again automatically. So FLO monitors, it runs automatic tests on the water system. So questions that we often get is like, okay, well, I mean, you guys probably know this because you guys are plumbers, so you understand how plumbing actually works. But a lot of homeowners ask us, hey, like, why do I need to know about pressure? Why do I need to know about temperature? Well, the temperature is the easy one, right? Because with temperature, if water reaches a freezing condition, we all know that water in the pipe can expand and cause a burst. So monitoring the temperature in real time every day, we can help people avoid those kind of freezing pipes from happening. But pressure is really the key. Pressure in the water system, as we like to describe to homeowners, works very similar to the way that blood pressure works in your body, right? When you have high blood pressure in your body, a root cause, a lot of different catastrophic things that could happen. It's unnecessary strain on veins, arteries, eventually organs can fail. The same is true for the home water system. So by monitoring for high pressure and alerting to when high pressure happens, that's a great call out opportunity to be able to bring your plumber back and fix whatever the underlying issue is. So FLO can notify, shut off the water, and ultimately the point 6 here is what I really want to emphasize. This is a great partnership opportunity between our company and the plumbing community. It really is such a great win-win, because as great as our technology is pointing out issues and shutting off the water, we haven't resolved any underlying plumbing issue for the home, right? We can't install this ourselves. It's not a DIY installation. It's not a do-it-yourself. So we rely on plumbing professionals like yourselves for the installation. We work with plumbers as an extension of our own sales network. Plumbers are a very important part of our distribution channel. So we will sell the technology to plumbing partners we have at wholesale pricing for them to then sell the product. So for plumbers, as you might imagine, like yourselves, there's a number of different ways that we can work together. We can work together selling the product. You guys are going to be part of the distribution. You can make money off of the installation. But then it's really about providing great service to the homeowner. Once this is installed, we then identify all different kinds of vulnerabilities happening in homes, whether you have high water pressure, leaks as small as a drop of water a minute, which I will simulate into just a few minutes here, thermal expansion issues, backflow issues, you name it, we will catch it with our system. But most homeowners are not going to fix that problem themselves. They're going to turn around and they're going to ask us, hey, I need to get this problem fixed, or our support will reach out to them. And then we will gladly send the lead back to the plumbing professional that installed that technology in the first place, which means this is now a great opportunity to keep in closer contact with your customers, creates a very sticky relationship, and ultimately will mean additional revenue for the plumber longer term. So, really exciting partnership opportunity there. In terms of the technology, it's kind of like any other best-in-class, IoT device, whether it's a Nest thermostat, a Ring, all these different smart home technologies we have. That's kind of what we've done with FLO, and I'll simulate, how this technology works in a second. So the homeowner can access the system on their phone, and I'll show you guys how all this works. Or they can even log in through a web app, and they can, control their system and see all their water usage, set conservation goals from there. So for a homeowner, it checks a number of boxes. One, huge problem, whether homeowners know it or not, is water damage. And this will help prevent water damage from happening altogether. Two, it's a whole home solution. We will identify leaks and vulnerabilities anywhere in the plumbing system. Three, give a remote ability to shut off the water, or we will automatically shut off the water for the homeowner, and they can push a button and turn it right back on, as I'll show you. Four, we really have a best-in-class support team. As I said, all of them come from Tesla. They're used to providing great support to homeowners, which really will then act as an extension of the support team when you introduce us to one of your homeowners. And five, we're operating at a very cost-effective price point, where our technology today, if you go on our website, retails for $499, but with the kind of wholesale pricing that we'll give, you guys can be the hero and even sell it for something less than that. And then it's really just a great foot in the door. You've kind of positioned yourself as the plumber of record on the system. And so that'll just mean that you'll be keep a very sticky relationship with that homeowner. One thing that I just wanted to kind of touch on, I've been talking a lot about single family homes. but we've also been extending into multi-residential applications as well. We've now been contracted on a 328 unit but apartment of a complex. And so that was actually a relationship that came through one of our plumbing partnerships. They brought us into that deal, so they made the sale, and so they got money on the wholesale. And then we've even set up a system where we will provide proactive monitoring for that apartment building, and the plumbing partner is getting part of the recurring revenue of monitoring that the building. So that's something that we can talk about a little bit more. There's a lot of creative ways that we can also work together. And so what that does is it then provides the plumbing professional and the HOA in that case an administrator's portal where they can monitor what's happening in their clients' homes in real time. We're actually running a pilot right now with one of our preferred plumbing partners out in Connecticut, where they've taken 15 of the homes that they want to keep the closest contact with, a lot of second homes in those areas, and we've given that plumbing professional a dashboard just like this so they can monitor what's happening in their customers' homes and provide them an excellent level of service. So that could be something that we can talk about as well. I think I'm going to put the deck down and actually move towards the demo so I can actually show you guys how this works. And then we can jump in and we'll leave plenty of time for Q&A, but answering any questions about the tech.
Perfect.
Sound good?
That sounds great.
So, Aaron, can we go out of the screen mode and just... Oh, so Josh, can we stop sharing the screen and we'll just move into the demo?
Actually, it looks like, Aaron, you might have been the one to push share screen. So you might have to hit stop sharing.
Sorry, guys, just a bit of technical difficulty. But I'll just start talking and you'll be able to see in more, a little bit clearer what I'm talking about in a second.
All right, you should be good now.
All right, so what we're actually simulating here is we're simulating the installation of a FLO and how it works on a home water system. So this is simulating FLO actually being installed on the main water supply line to a home. You can see that there's right here is where the water shutoff is. So in this direction would be the rest of the pipes of the home. And then I'm simulating over here a water fixture. So I have a little hose bib set up. Then I'm going to simulate small drips, and these are the pipes that are actually behind the behind the house opening. So this is what the dashboard looks like. I want to make sure you guys can get a good view. I can just bring the app a little bit closer, actually. So what the homeowner sees here on their app is they see at the very top, they see they're secure. They don't currently have any leaks. They've used 3 gallons of water today. At the bottom here, they can see the times of day that they've used water. And there are 3 different settings on the app. There's home, away, and sleep. Anytime a homeowner is just at home or at work, their kind of normal routine, they would just leave the system in home mode, wouldn't need to do anything. If they were leaving for an extended period of time, so let's say they were going on vacation for a week, we would suggest putting the device in away mode, and that means that the device will then not expect for that normal day-to-day activity. We learn what a toilet is in the home, what a shower is in the home. We can differentiate between different fixtures. So once the system is in away mode, we would expect that those active water uses like toilets and faucets and showers wouldn't be happening, and we would only expect things that maybe happen in the background. So if we saw something dangerous happening, we would shut off the water faster if in away mode than in the regular home mode. And I'll show how that works. The homeowner also has a dashboard, a control panel, if you will, to see in real time what the pressure is in the water system, the temperature, and the flow rate. And then you see the little button here to actually turn the water on and off. So first thing I'm going to show you is what happens when I click that little on-off button. So when I hit the off button and I hit OK, I actually want to shut off the water. If you look over here, you see this little green nozzle that just turned. We actually just shut off the water to the home, and now you see that the water kind of looks like it stopped running. If I push this, I'm now opening the water to back up to the home water system. So if now I open this up, now we can hear Okay. Having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I think our water pump just stopped working. Does anyone know a plumber to help us? Okay. These guys are going to need 2 minutes. We've been dragging this thing around all around the country. We had it in Florida last week, so maybe our pump isn't working. So we'll just give those guys a minute. But what I'm going to show you once these guys get it back online is that once you start running water, you can actually see the flow rate in real time, kind of turn on and off. We can actually show when there are tiny drips that happen in the water system as well. So just bear with me for 1 sec. So now you see there's no water in the system. So this is the first alert I just got. You see the background just went orange. This wasn't something I was planning on simulating, but glad it works. And I got a low pressure alert because now it's basically telling me, hey, there's no water in your water system. So if you're planning on taking a shower or something, now is not the best time because you got to turn your pump back on. So not something that you would if you were on a city water system, you probably wouldn't get a lot of these. But for anyone that lives in areas with wells and deals a lot with water pumps. We all know when our water pump stops working and then there's no water and it's really annoying. So this alert is more about convenience than anything else. But once I get an alert, I can click on that alert. So I just clicked on where it said low pressure. And I actually now get a bunch of details. I know it may be a little hard to see my screen, but the first is just to clear the alert. I'm on it. I know what to do. The second is I want to troubleshoot this. So then if I clicked on that, it would take you to our help desk and you would be able to get help. And the third is that you can share this alert. We can pre-program under share this alert. We can pre-program different plumbers in that space. So for example, if we had a plumbing partnership, we can make it so you would just be a push of a button away from getting a text message or an email from your homeowner asking for help. And if something critical was going on, or if this was a leak alert and I just didn't know what to do, again, if I was the homeowner, I could just turn on and turn off the water. Right now I know what's going on, so I'm just going to clear the alert. I'm going to say that you can send me more of those. And it says, okay, great. You'll be notified if this happens again. And now you see my background just went blue again. So blue, the background color, is just easy for homeowners to understand whether or not there's any kind of big underlying vulnerability. Seems like these guys are still working back here, so I'm sorry, guys.
There's a question that came in while they finished that up, and this is cool because we got to see what it looks like when there's low pressure. So, unexpected bonus, right?
Yeah.
But so Greg was asking, does this integrate with any third-party devices like Honeywell leak detectors or IFTTT?
Yeah. So as of today, the answer is no. We've been really focused building our own system. The only one that we do integration with today is Amazon Alexa. Like you could ask your Amazon Alexa, how much water have I used today?
Oh, that's cool.
And it'll communicate with the FLO to tell the homeowner how much they've used. We really just did that integration for CES to just have something cool to show.
Yeah.
The truth is that next quarter is when we're really going to start focusing on integrations with other third-party devices. It's definitely planned. It hasn't been on the highest part of our priority list, but you can expect that we will be doing integrations with, at a minimum, Amazon Alexa with Nest, Google Home, and IFTT. Those are at the top of our list of integrations that we will be doing. Looks like the water's running again.
Nice, just in time.
And the good news on that is, like, once you have this hardware, it took us like 10 years to get the hardware right, get all of the parts working and everything. But all of those kind of updates, those just happen in the air, right? That's software. So the system will never stop getting smarter. We'll always introduce more integrations. There will always be really cool stuff for the consumer. It's just a question of time and resources. And so you can expect by the end of the year that we'll have all of those different integrations in place.
Excellent. And someone's asking, Robert Wagner's asking, is there a monthly fee for monitoring?
Great question. So the answer is no. There's no monthly fee for the operation of the system. So everything that we've been talking about so far, with the alerts that you get, automatic shut off, if you have a question, you can reach out to FLO support. All that is, pretty much free on an ongoing basis. What we will be introducing, though, and I'm not I'm not ready to talk about all the details because we haven't publicly announced it, but we will be introducing a subscription, a very inexpensive one for about $5 a month, that for certain homeowners that want additional support, like concierge level service, if you will, there will be an option for people to upgrade, but certainly not something that's required.
Okay, good. Karen Edmonds had a question. She's asking, in my area, we don't have basements with water lines coming through the house. Is there any way to install this underground on a water line?
Yeah, so we would not, I would not have the FLO device anywhere where it can be subject to being submerged in water. There are two things you got to keep in mind. One, the device is very water resistant, so if there was like very heavy rains or being exposed to freezing conditions or whatnot, not a problem. But in terms of being underground, you would run into two issues there. One, you could potentially get water damage if it was submerged in water, and two, having it buried, you would have a very difficult time getting Wi-Fi connected to the system as well. So you would need to install it somewhere that I would say is above ground, and that you can get power to, and you can still get a Wi-Fi signal that won't get buried. So like people have asked, can I install this in like the meter pit, for example? And I would say the meter pit, you really, those could potentially get flooded. So I would say no. You would want to install them on the homeowner side of the line, wherever you can find that main water supply line.
Okay, good stuff.
Okay. So let's try again here. So you see that I got another low pressure alert because I asked it to let me know if the situation continues. I can also snooze it for a period of time. So now I'm going to snooze that for to 2 hours, and now you're not going to see that alert again. Let's just make sure I can get water running here. Okay. So now what you can see on the dashboard is it actually says, it's maybe a little difficult to see, but it actually says the rate at which water is running. So now you can see it's saying water's running at about 1.4 gallons per minute. If I make this a little bit higher, you'll see the rate go up. Now it's saying water's running at about 3 gallons a minute. And like I said before, the system has learned what's normal for the water system and what's not. So you see that water is continuously running. And now I'm getting my first alert. It's saying extended water use. Water should not be running at this time of day for this extended duration. So it's now alerting me. It sent me an email, it sent me a push notification. I'm now looking at my alert, and I can decide what I want to do. The problem is for right now that water is still running. I'm just going to lower the rate a little bit. But as water continues to run, if I'm a homeowner, I could be in a meeting. I can, not have my phone on me. And so I would expect that now you see the system is actually calling me. This is actually FLO support that's sending me.
Hi, this is Vince from FLO support with an important message.
I don't know if you guys can hear this.
Alert about a potential issue detected by your FLO device. Unless you tell us otherwise, we will shut off the water in a few minutes to protect your home.
So because I didn't respond, it is calling me, and I just push 1, and now you can hear that the FLO device has now just shut off the water. So once I got the phone call told me I was having an issue, and then I could decide, hey, I could push 1 and turn off the water. If I did nothing, let's say I didn't answer the phone, within a couple minutes thereafter, just as a precautionary measure, the system would have shut off the water for me automatically. And if that ever happened, I could just go right back to my control panel. So now you see there's no pressure because all the water's been drained, water's not running anymore, water's in the off position. I can push that button, hit OK. We're going to hear that little guy turn, and now you see the water's right back on running again at about 1 gallon per minute, 0.9. So I can go over here and I can turn off the water, but there you just saw how I got the text message, I got the push notification, all of the different kind of alerts that I was having a problem in the system. So the system will send various kind of alerts just based on flow. Again, if water's running for too long of a period of time, too high of a flow rate, too much water, just the volume of water that's been consumed being abnormal for a period of time, we take a number of different kind of dimensions of looking at the flow problem. But the thing with looking at water flow, that's reactive. We're now responding to water that's running in the home, which could already be causing damage. I think what the really exciting part about our system is, and what really highly differentiates our system from any competition, is what we're doing proactively. So like I said before, we monitor for high pressure in the water system because, again, high water pressure can lead to pipes bursting, appliances and fixtures failing. But also monitor using pressure is how we detect tiny drips of water in the water system. You can't detect a drop of water a minute using just flow. And the reason why a drop of water a minute is really important is just going back to my father's experience of being an expert witness. One of the things that he realized really early on is that if you can catch those tiny drips of water, those are the best indicators that your home water system is unhealthy. That at some point, that's showing you where the vulnerability is and where you may end up having a pipe burst. So we promote maintenance of the water system by finding those tiny drips of water and having them fixed. A lot of homeowners may say, oh God, it's just a tiny drip of water. Why should I care so much? Well, again, those tiny drips of water, those are the things that end up forming mold, that cause infrastructure issues in the home. And then also, those could potentially lead to catastrophic water failures as well. So what the system does every single day in the background is it runs what we call a micro leak test. It's running a pressure decay test on the water system. So I'm going to generate a tiny leak of water. Hold on. No, it's open. Oh, this? Oh, there we go. All right, I got the water on now. So let me generate a little, let's get the air out of the line. All right, so I'm generating a little leak over here. I'm gonna pull this forward so you guys can actually see how small this leak is. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's about a drop of water every 3 to 5 seconds or so. So what the system does automatically in the background every day, I'm going to simulate one right now, is it actually shuts off the water to the home at a time when we know that water's not in use. Again, we're running machine learning algorithms, so the system knows the times of day that water's not running. So let's say at 3 o'clock in the morning, the system will automatically shut off the water and monitor the pressure in the water system. So I'll show you how this works and I'll explain what happens. So I'm gonna manually run one of these tests. We call it a health test. I'm gonna say, okay. You're gonna see the water shut off. And now you're gonna see the system running up to potentially a 9-minute test for larger homes. It's gonna be a much shorter period of time for a water system that's this size. Now you see that it just detected a small drip in the water system. I'm getting a push notification. I'm getting an email. I'm going to click on the email so you guys can see what this looks like. So I just got an email that's now giving me troubleshooting tips on how I would go about finding where that leak is in the home and trying to troubleshoot where it's coming from. Let me explain how we just did that. Okay. So water pressure is very similar to air, right? It's all pressure. It's all fluid mechanics. So if you imagine that you have a balloon and that balloon is full of air, as long as that balloon is sealed, the air pressure in that balloon is going to stay constant, right? It's not going to change. Even if you poke a tiny hole in that balloon, you would see the air pressure in that balloon drop. We take that same fluid mechanics principle and apply it to the home water system every single day. So the test that I just ran, it started by shutting off the water to the home. So it created a closed pressurized environment. When no fixtures are in use and we shut off water from the main, the water pressure in the water system should stay constant if there are no leaks, right? Whatever pressure was at, it should stay constant over that period of time. And if it did, then we would know definitively that there are no leaks in the water system, that that home is leak-free, which is a pretty incredible, concept to actually know definitively, have the peace of mind that you have no leaks. Now, what just happened is because I had these tiny drops of water coming out, the water pressure started to decay, it started to drop. So the system knew definitively that there was a leak. And then you saw the email that I got, the push notifications, the text message, letting me know that I have an issue. And then as a homeowner, I can try to troubleshoot where those are coming from. About 80% of the time, I would say in our experience, it's usually a fixture. It's a toilet that a flapper's gone bad. It's a faucet that may have been left a little bit open, a shower that's been left a little bit open. Homeowner can then go around and figure out where that's coming from themselves. For example, if I thought it was my guest bathroom that, the flapper's probably gone bad. What I would do as a homeowner is I would go over and I would shut off the water to that toilet. I would go over and turn off the little angle stop, and I would rerun the test. If I reran the test and now I passed, I know definitively that I just isolated the issue to that toilet. And so now I just probably need I would call my plumbing professional, or you could call FLO support and say, hey, here's what happened. The homeowner could probably go to Home Depot themselves and just fix the little toilet fill valve. But what happens if they try to isolate all their fixtures and appliances and now they can't find the leak? Now that means that there could be something behind the wall, could be something underneath the slab. That's where they would want to get their plumbing professional involved to help better maintain their system and figure out where the leak is coming from. So we can identify the big bursts, we can identify the small drips, but now I'm going to simulate what happens if it's a leak that you can't find, like one of the leaks that are happening behind the wall. So let me show you how this works, and then I'll pause and I will answer any questions that you guys have. I see a bunch of them kind of popping up. So I'm going to go back to that. So again, I got my small drip, up a detected alert. I'm going to go ahead and clear that alert and go back to my main dashboard. I'm going to clear all the alerts I had just so I can give you a clean kind of bill of health. Okay, so now we're back to having a healthy water system, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the system in but OA mode. And I'm going to show you guys what happens if you have, a pipe burst while you're, away from home. So this system, again, is simulating the pipes behind the wall of your home, right? If you had a tiny drip of water, maybe I'll move this a little bit closer so you can actually see what's going on here. So you see these tiny drips of water that are now coming out of the outside of the pipe. Again, this is too small for a flow sensor on its own to be able to pick up. A water meter wouldn't be able to catch, to tiny drips of water this small. Our system would identify them through the health test that we run every day. But let's say the homeowner couldn't figure out where it was coming from in time. Now you have a pipe burst in the water system. The system sees that, hey, water should not be running at this time of day, this day of the week. It just automatically shut off the water, and we've now stopped the leak happening in the home. And now if you look at the app, it's telling you, hey, I got a push notification. My email just came in telling me that I have a fast water flow, and the system automatically shut off the water for me. So the system is smart enough to know that, hey, that water is not normal for someone not being home for this time of day, this day of the week. And you saw how the system automatically shut off the water. Now, so I got the push notification from my phone. You see that the water is now off. So now I'm getting a phone call from FLO support that's calling to tell me what just happened. So I'll let you guys listen in.
Hey, this is Vince from FLO support with an important message. We just sent an alert about a potential issue detected by your FLO device. In order to protect your home, we just shut off the water as a precautionary measure. Here are some additional details from our FLObot. Your FLO device detected a fast water flow issue at 123 Demo Lane.
So you get it. Because I didn't respond to the alert fast enough, I got an auto-generated phone call letting me know what happened. So I'm aware that the water's off. And so if I want to now call out my plumber or whatever I need to do, I should go ahead and do that. And then, of course, with the push of the button, I can always just turn the water back on. And so you're going to see the little guy turn. Water is now on again to the water system. I can go over here and I can, clear the alert, or again, I can just share this directly with my plumber if I wanted to. I know what it is. I'm going to clear it. And now when I go back to my dashboard, it's blue again and everything's healthy. So that's our little demo. Thank you guys for dealing with the little technical difficulties that we had on our on that water pump, not one of our products. And now I'm happy to answer any of the questions as part of the Q&A.
That was awesome, by the way. Really cool demonstration of this technology. I love the fact that you've got the burst pipe simulation and the little drip simulation. You really kind of bridge the gap between what the problem is, how the technology works. So kudos on having such a great way to demonstrate how this product works.
Thank you.
All right, so a couple questions. Robert Wagner is asking, is it a manual override on the valve?
Yeah, so there are two ways that you can, there are three ways that water can turn on and off. One, the system can do it automatically. If its machine learning algorithm senses that something really catastrophic is happening, homeowner can always do it themselves with the push of a button. We also have access to it at FLO support, so if we needed to, to override and open and close the valve from our side, we can certainly do that. The last way of doing that is if just in case the power goes out to the home for any reason, you can actually open and close the valve with the manual shutoff that you see on top. So now you see that the light under valve is in the red position. If I went ahead and just opened this back up, which you can actually just do with your hand as well, but it does come with the key. Now you see that the valve is in the green position. So you can always, if you had to, the reason why we have that is, again, just in case the power goes out for, the whatever reason and the device got stuck in the off position, you could always just, walk up to it and open and close it if you had to.
Awesome. Great feedback on that. Karen Edmonds is asking, how does it tell the difference between what's a usual and what's something like a company staying at the house or a college kid at home or something like that?
Yeah, great question. So that was the last mode that I didn't get to show you. That was the sleep mode. So if you're expecting as a homeowner, if you're expecting to have certain water activity that would not be considered normal, like let's say it's you have a bunch of guests over for Thanksgiving, the kids are home from college or something like that, you can do one of two things. One, you could put the device in sleep mode, right, which will then ignore the activity that goes on while it's in sleep mode and will not send you alerts and not shut off your water if that's for a short period of time. If there's a permanent change that's being made, for example, your son or daughter just graduated college and now is moving back in with you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I did that for a period of time when I graduated college. The system will then keep learning over time that, okay, now we're seeing that there's more water usage than there used to be, and it may trigger one alert, here and there as it's learning. But by you ignoring the alert, it then keeps learning that, okay, this is a normal occurrence, and it would eventually adapt to the changed conditions in the home.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a great question, a smart question, and a great answer. I'm glad you guys thought that through. Robert wanted to know what kind of warranty the FLO comes with.
Yeah, so standard for connected home products, it comes with a 1-year warranty. That's part of what we're going to be introducing and part of the subscription that we offer. If people want an extended warranty, that will be included as part of that subscription. But the truth is, even though we have a 1-year warranty to kind of cover our butt, we really want our customers to be happy. So if someone was really dealing with an issue and it was really a mechanical issue, we'd probably end up replacing it. But in terms of the terms and conditions, the standard is a 1-year warranty.
Awesome. Robert Wagner had posted this in comments. I'm not sure if he saw the answer, so I'll ask it again. What happens if the power goes out? So this thing is plugged in. If the power in the home goes out, what happens in that situation?
Yeah, so if the power went out, this device would essentially just become a pass-through. Like water would pass through it like, any other fixture. If it was shut off in the off position, like the water was shut off, again, you could go over and manually open and close it. What we are introducing is an extended battery that you will be able to plug into the outside of the device. The problem with that is, it gives a little bit of limited protection when power is out because your Wi-Fi still wouldn't be working at that time, and Wi-Fi is what you need for the cloud communication. So a lot of people ask about, water shut off, and the reason why we didn't include a battery is because if you happen to lose power, you probably still wouldn't be able to communicate with the FLO device anyways because your Wi-Fi is out. But at the very least, then it would still be learning. And even if Wi-Fi is out, this is an important actual point, so I'm glad it came up. Even if the Wi-Fi is out, the system parameters and the logic is still live. So even if it's not connected to the cloud and something catastrophic happened, it would still automatically shut off the water, in the event that was warranted. So the device is still functional if it's not connected to the Wi-Fi.
Okay, good feedback. A couple people have asked, like Dave Smythe is asking if it's available in Canada. Someone asked if it was available in the UK.
Yeah, so Not available in the UK yet. I think we have done some shipping to Canada. I'm looking at my team. Soon. Okay. Like I know we've shipped some, but we expect to be shipping to Canada soon. UK may take a little bit longer. We haven't started shipping that overseas quite yet. We have a number of, so one thing to kind of keep in mind that there's a number of draws here. So like insurance companies, for example, really want to see devices like FLO installed, and a number of homeowners insurance companies today are already giving discounts on our technology. So if any of your customers are like Liberty Mutual customers, for example, or Chubb, AIG, Travelers, Nationwide, these carriers are already giving premium discounts or other incentives to get this technology installed. So that's a nice little additional driver that will, kind of help, pay for part of the system. So like the USAA, for example, is actually one of our investors in the company. So we work very closely with insurance, and that's just a good thing to know, because when you're ever having a conversation with a homeowner about the system, the fact that they hear that they may be able to get a discount on their homeowner's insurance, which is only getting more and more expensive, this helps reduce the likelihood of having a claim and certainly drives down the severity of all water damage claims. So you will find that whether or not an insurance company is giving a discount or incentive today, likely over the next couple of years, you're going to start seeing a lot more.
Nice. There's a lot of other questions here. A couple of them are asking, like, how would I learn more about selling this device? Do you have information we can put up on the screen while we answer the rest of the questions in case these guys are interested and they want to figure out how to get involved with you?
Yeah, my guys are going to bring that up on the screen in just 1 second. But you basically go to meetflo.com/pro. That's where there's some information. You can sign up to get information directly from the company. We can send you guys, brochures about the technology. We can help arm you with different pamphlets and brochures or whatnot that you would want for a homeowner if you need the technical specs. Pricing. We have our two technical sales guys in the room, Aaron and Tim, and so those would be the guys that would very likely get back to you. So that's where you would go, meetflo.com/pro.
And so perfect. So guys, go there. Get registered and learn more about how to sell this product and introduce it to your clients. Robert, go ahead.
Sorry, one thing I wanted to mention that the guys just reminded me. So the retail price on the technology is $499, but for any of the guys that are on the call today, we want, like, the best way to learn more about the technology and understand it and to really be able to even sell it in the future is to get one of these installed on your own home or your own team member's home. So what we're doing just for plumbing professionals, and it's kind of like honor policy here, we'll sell you a device for $199, which is like pretty close to what our cost is, just because we really believe in the product. We want you guys to have it. And once you have it installed in your own home and know how it works, you'll see how easy it is for a homeowner and how great the user experience is. They will thank you. So you won't see that on our website, but if you go ahead and sign up and, Arn and Tim will get in touch with you, they'll give you a promo code to be able to get devices for not only you, but any members of your team that would like to have a device, any of the guys that you have in the field, any of your, the technicians, we'll sell up at all them a device for $199.
Nice. Yeah, that's just good solid math, right? You get enough plumbers that have it installed and understand how it works and get excited about it. It's going to spread to the general population even quicker.
Absolutely. So. There's really nothing like having this app on your phone and being able to like show a homeowner, show friends, like, hey, here's how much water I've used today. Here's what's going on. So you see throughout that demo, we used about 5 gallons of water. You see the time that water actually ran. And there's nothing like the first time you get to turn off the water on your spouse or your children while they're in the shower. They will never forget it. I don't recommend it, but there is a little bit of fun to be had with the system as well.
Like, have a little bit of fun with the FLO device while you're at it, right?
I've done plenty of demos where I've shut off the water on my wife, and people have called, and then I'll get a phone call right after. Did you turn the water on again in the middle of the demo? And I don't do that anymore because I like to sleep at home. So.
That's awesome. All right, so a couple more questions here. So Billy's asking, will hard water affect the unit?
Yeah, good question. So hard water doesn't affect the unit. There is a turbine. That's the kind of flow sensor we use, but hard water just kind of comes right off of it. So we haven't experienced any issues with hard water. What we have experienced issues with is if there's certain well systems where the water is not being treated well before it goes through the flow device, and there's certain magnetic like sediments in the water, those can have a tendency to mess a little bit with our flow sensor. So if there are conditions where there are like a lot of sediments, magnetic sediments in the water, we would recommend installing the flow device after the water treatment system. That's the one place where the quality of the water could have an effect on the system.
Okay, good feedback. Linda asked this earlier. I think it's already been answered, but the question was, does this monitor high pressure as well?
Absolutely. I mean, high water pressure is one of the biggest causes of having those catastrophic water failures happen. Even when you have freezing temperatures, I mean, underlying the freezing temperature, that's really causing a pressure issue, because as the water freezes, it expands and it's causing a pressure. So pressure is really a cornerstone of what helps make us prevent water damage claims. So absolutely, we're monitoring for high pressure in real time, but every day.
And Matt Savas asked, and you may have just answered this, so I apologize, but it says, does it need to be installed after the pressure regulator or before?
We definitely recommend installing it after the pressure regulator, just for the reason I just stated. A lot of people have pressure regulators, install them, and then they just forget it's there, and they take for granted whether or not that pressure regulator is working properly or not. Even the pressure regulating manufacturing companies recommend that you want to, repair, maintain those every 5 years. People have had pressure regulators for 30, 40, 50 years, and they never know whether they're effective or not. So we recommend installing it after the pressure regulator so you can monitor the effectiveness of how the pressure regulator is actually doing.
Great. Good question. Good answer. Robert's asking what the distribution model is, open territory, etc.
Yeah, so today we're trying to partner with as many of the right kind of plumbing professionals as we can. Part of the reason that we're excited to be on this program is because you guys are clearly the more forward-thinking folks in your space. You're thinking about all the right things on how to attract the right kind of customers in your area. You guys are all tech savvy. You're the kind of partners we want for our system. And so we are partnering with different plumbers in different territories. We haven't given any exclusives, to anyone. We just haven't really had to do that. You did just see. You guys may have noticed that my screen went gray for a second. That was actually telling me that my device was offline. I'm just going to show you how that works. So I'm disconnecting from the power, and you guys will see in about a minute or so, you're going to see that actually reporting that the device is offline as well, which, there you go. So now it's great. So a lot of people actually like the device offline notifications, because then they know if their home Wi-Fi is actually working properly or not. So little feature there.
A little extra bonus uptime monitoring.
I'm sorry.
No, it's a little bonus of Wi-Fi uptime monitoring, right?
You know what's something really interesting? Like, there are a bunch of different things that we never thought our system would be used for. So, for example, we had a tech-savvy gentleman that installed the flow device in their elderly parents' home, just because they wanted to make sure that they didn't have any leaks or water shutoffs, all the same reason you want to have one in your home. But because down here you can actually see when water's being used, it was actually great for him to know that his elderly parents were actually up and about and doing things. And God forbid no one slipped and fell or whatever. It was a very nice non-invasive way for him to know that everything was going fine for his parents. So a lot of different uses for the technology that we didn't initially think of, but just by having a top tier kind of connected home put device in the home really does help you keep a pulse of kind of what's happening in the house. So I just want to make sure I answer the question. So we don't give exclusives for any particular territories, but we think that there's definitely an early mover advantage. We just released this technology. We started shipping devices about 2 months ago. This product has been under various forms of testing with insurance companies and beyond for the last really 3 years. So it is ready to go. It's prime time, but we don't have great plumbing partnerships into different territories. So you guys are really probably hearing among the first people hearing about FLO, and I think you're going to hear a lot more about it in the years to come. So I think there's a great early mover advantage.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Hazel Water Solutions is asking, is the app limited to a certain amount of people per device, like in terms of access?
Yeah, so right now there is one, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, one user per device, but you could share that username and password with the different people that are in your home. So you could have it on like 5 different apps, but you wouldn't have 5 different usernames and passwords. You would just have one username and password per device that you would share with but any of the people that you wanted to have access to it. Eventually, we will introduce like an admin app, so you could turn on and turn off the water. And then if you wanted to give like a nanny access or a gardener's or something like that, like other people that may interact with the water system, we will introduce that there can be more than one user account. But today, there's one user account per device, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Great stuff. Fascinating. I really appreciate all the great information you guys have shared, all of the great questions for everybody that was in asking questions and engaging. Really appreciate the feedback. There's somebody asking, and feel free to ask more questions, guys. But RN is asking, where is the device installed if it's underground? I think we already addressed that a little bit earlier, but if you could just touch on it for a sec.
Yeah, again, so if you did have to have, like we have installed in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we've seen that there have been some homes that the water pipe stays underground, and then by the time it gets into the home, it's already split off to different devices. So what they did in Dallas-Fort Worth was they actually plumbed to bring the line above ground, install the FLO device, and then take it back underground. Again, I would not install it underground because the device, for 2 reasons. One, the device cannot be submerged in water, like it's IPX or whatever that is, 5, which means that like it can deal with like hurricane level, like rains and splashing and whatever. But I wouldn't fully submerge it. And the other reason you wouldn't want to put it underground is because you still need Wi-Fi connectivity to the device.
Good. So someone had asked earlier. There's so many comments and questions. How do we get a demo product so we can learn to promote it? Again, the opportunity that they're giving is go to meetflo.com/pro, become a registered dealer of the product or distributor of the product, and you can get a unit for just $199, which is lower than you'd be able to get it for yourself and for other plumbers.
Yeah, anywhere like that. That's really the lowest price that we give to anyone, and really the reason why we're doing that is because we really believe that once our plumbing partners have this in their own homes, it not only like educates them on how the system works so they can answer any questions of homeowners, but you will become a believer after you have this in your home. I promise you, within a company of a reasonable size, if you get this in people's homes, it won't take that long for a light bulb to go off and be like, I never would have known this leak existed, or it shuts off the water because of a running toilet or worse, and it's just you quickly become an ambassador for the system. We've seen it time and time again, and so that's why we give that heavily discounted price just for folks like you guys.
Awesome. Well, I think that's the end of the questions. Anything else you guys want to cover before we wrap up today's session?
No, I'm just going to ask my team real quick. Did I miss anything that you guys think I should touch on? No, I'm seeing heads shaking. I really appreciate Josh. Thank you for putting this on and inviting us to be on the program. Really appreciate it, and for but all of you guys out there that took the time to learn about FLO. Really appreciate it. Please feel free to reach out to the team. You can also call our support line at 844-MEET-FLO. But the best thing to do is, again, go to MeetFLO. Yeah, you just want to bring that up one more time, Aaron. To go to meetflo.com/pro, and then we can start to communicate there and help support you guys in any way we can.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the great information. Really impressive technology. For those of you guys that came on today's session live or watching it after the fact, thank you for your attention. Thank you for the great questions. What a great opportunity to be on the cutting edge with an innovative technology that will be something your customers need and want. something that will make you more interesting and sticky with your customer base, and really an opportunity again to be on the front end of a new wave of the plumbing technology.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, really the last thing I want to say is, like, whether this is our device or someone else's device, and whether it's a year from now or 5 years from now, like, this is going to become, the ubiquitous with the home, the same way that we have alarm systems and, smoke detectors and, sprinkler systems, gas shutoffs. Like, we are going to see this happen. And so I think that this is a great opportunity for the guys, especially on this call, to be on the front end of this, because I mean it's going to happen. It's too big of a problem to too many industries. We also have, just quick side note, we have like water utilities now that are doing pilot tests on the system that will eventually also offer rebates to have this technology installed. So it's really going to be a huge win for homeowners, and I think that the plumbing professionals like the ones on this call are really sitting in the best position to also benefit the most from it, from the sale, installation, and obviously this is going to be a huge source of lead generation for years and years but to come.
Fantastic. Well, we'll wrap up there. Great session, great information. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing the information about FLO, and we will talk to you guys again soon.
See you guys. Thank you.